Most people come to Maine, and the majority of the people spend their time on the coast. People that live on the coast, half of them have never been north of Augusta, have never seen any of this, don't realize that they have a deep wilderness right in their backyard. It's pretty quiet up here. You're not surrounded by a whole bunch of people, which is a pretty beautiful thing. It's a long drive from Portland to get up to this part of the world, but once you get here, it's magic. It feels like a completely different world, and I mean, this big sky, and the clouds seem to go on forever. They're just like big, white, puffy, cumulus clouds that make you feel like a lazy summer afternoon. And then the lake is warm, and the swimming is great. Not too much work to be done if you don't want to. You just kind of make it a float trip. And so when we come out here, it is this place where we are just with each other, and we're hanging out in beautiful places and learning about the natural world and experiencing the landscape and taking the time to just talk to each other, talk about what we're seeing, and have that common purpose. You know, the middle of Maine is one of the darkest places in the country. The stars are out of this world.
I particularly like Lobster Lake because it's not necessarily part of any of the canoe routes. And it's a wonderful thing to have an opportunity to not be going anywhere. You paddle into Lobster Lake to spend time on Lobster Lake. It's a place where you can go to relax and to enjoy yourself, and then when you're ready, move back into the West Branch and continue on your way. The West Branch of the Penobscot is probably the best introductory river canoe trip in the world. It's moving flat water. At lower water levels, a few rocks can poke up here and there, and as long as you're paying attention, you won't run into any trouble. Other highlights: floating and bobbing in the river next with a hand on the canoe and in deep water as the current moved us along. Having lunch on Thoreau Island is always a cool connection with history. But when you're out surrounded by pine trees in the middle of the woods, it's pretty cool to know that an expedition 160 years ago passed by this way. One of the things that is really special about this area is that it has that wild feel. It is a wilderness, and yet people live here. People live here and people travel here, and they have for 10,000 years. Native peoples, loggers, the people that live on the lake, and the guides that work here. This is an inhabited wilderness. Think about how this area is still used for some of the same purposes, and how the land is rebounded from those impacts. Because it's just up from the West Branch, there's creeks, there's wetlands, there's really good moose habitat. You know, the end of a long paddling day, especially on a warm day like today, running through all the basic necessities of getting food on the fire so that we can all eat and enjoy one another's company and maybe make time for a swim. So there was just an orange orb there on the horizon. Pretty incredible golden light for that last hour. And I'm cool and happy, bobbing in the water, thinking about drawing down on a successful trip. Having good conversations with people you're out there with, recognizing, feeling connected to this habit of human-powered travel that has been a consistent factor in being a human being for the last 500,000 years of people working towards a goal in a small team in tough conditions, day in, day out. It sort of awakens some sense of being a better version of ourselves.